say, I get the impression, and this is me, and what I imagine will happen is that John Terry will have his say on this subject when it suits John Terry, under the conditions that suit John Terry. John Terry didn't particularly want that question asked of him by me. He didn't even know that question was going to be asked, because I didn't tell him prior to the interview that
you didn't know you were going to bring up this topic?
No, he didn't. And there's a distinct possibility that he might not have done the interview
Alexa,
if he knew this question.
send all please.
The answer to the questions. So the subject's been brought up. I think he thinks it's a closed issue. It's a closed issue for which he's been sanctioned. He believes, and to some extent so do I, that the highest proof burden is through the legal system and not through FA courts. And the fact that he was acquitted through those courts are his principal position. But I get the impression, and I would imagine if I was in his shoes, the media sort of lid has been lifted. He doesn't do many media stuff. The fact he did one with me tells you that there might be a direction of travel that he's going. You might see John Terry might be slightly more available in the media. And I think you'll find there might be opportunities for John to have precisely his say under his conditions, under the terms that he wishes to advance his view on what happened between himself and Anton. Because really and truly, there's only two people that know what absolutely happened. There might have been a few people that heard certain things and maybe followed the trail of what they were saying to one another during the course of that particular game. And I'm not seeking to be an apologist or a condoner or putting one foot in either camp, right? I'm suggesting that John Terry, I would imagine, might well have his say on this subject matter and won't do it to the tune of Anton Ferdinand and the way that Anton Ferdinand might want to do it. And I think the reference that John was making at the time was, what a horrible instance for all of us to be involved in. At the time, we could have turned this into a more positive thing. Now what we're doing is we're raking over the coals of something that happened 12 years ago that doesn't really have any relevance anymore.
Yeah.
And that's me opening that can of worms, because if I didn't do that interview with John Terry and ask him that question, everyone would have said to me, "You're a snivelling coward.
You didn't ask the question.
You didn't ask the elephant in the room."
It still might have relevance to Anton.
Well, it may well do. I mean, Anton, in the court of public opinion, and of course in the court of football, John Terry has been found guilty by the Football Association of an offence. And I think most people take the view that he has a case to answer. And I'm not interested in context or nuance or John Terry's version of events, and it's up to John if he wants to put that in the public domain. If I'm in his shoes, would I take up Anton Ferdinand's offer? I might have said more previously myself.
Yeah.
If I had an alternate view, I might have been more on the front foot from the outset, saying, well, what about this?
Yeah.
And if I did do this, what about that? But that's me.
Yeah, briefly, Simon, I've done a few interviews in my time, and please don't ask me X or Y, but you feel obliged you have to ask it, and the atmosphere can change a bit.
Berthstein was. You know, he knew that there had to be something. He watches the podcast. So I think there's an element of respect, certainly respect. I think he was a fantastic player. I think he's arguably the best defender this country's ever produced in conjunction and aligned with people like Bobby Moore. I think Rio Ferdinand falls into that category as well. It's a very sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
These guys are at odds, and circumstances have manifested themselves.
It might well be that it's agreed all round it's good to talk, and we'll see if they do. It's 11:30.
White and Jordan on Talk Sport with Selco Builders Warehouse. With the Selco app, it's now even easier to buy from Selco. Download it for free from the App Store today.
It's time to stop spinning. Feel those dials turn down and off. So when the grid is busy, relying on fossil fuels, you're a washing machine, drifting into a power nap. Want help shifting your energy to greener times? OVO's Alexa skill can help. Just say, Alexa, open OVO Power Nap.
White and Jordan on Talk Sport with Selco. For the latest special offers, pick up this month's real deals in branch or view online at selcobw.com.
What to give your sister for her birthday? She loves surprises. You've already organised a surprise party and invited her ex-boyfriend Ravi. That'll be a good surprise. Oh, maybe a scratch card from the National Lottery. She'll see the envelope and think you've forgotten the present, but surprise! It's inside. The National Lottery. Best gift ever. Please gift responsibly, and remember you need to be 18 to buy, gift and play. Even though it's a gift, rules and procedures apply.
If your business is accused of damaging a client's property, for example, accidentally pouring tea all over their expensive audio equipment, really, really sorry about that, by the way, then Hiscox could help protect you. The story of your business, underwritten by Hiscox Business Insurance, subject to already holding a relevant Hiscox policy and subject to policy eligibility, terms and conditions.
I'm Martin Samuel. I write a column for The Times and Sunday Times, and you can read my take on the weekend's football every Monday online or through our app. You'll also find the latest news and exclusive football features, the Jolly Game podcast, the football newsletter, and in-depth tactical analysis in The Trend. A digital subscription is just £1 for 3 months. Subscribe with Google or visit thetimes.co.uk/talksport to join. Also renews at £26 a month, less cancel.
McDonald's are making small improvements to our classic burgers, searing our 100% British and Irish beef patties so they're even juicier. And we're serving them hotter for meltier cheese, all in new toastier buns. The classics, now a little more Comparison with prior classic burgers, served after 11 a.m, subject to availability.
It's time to spring into makeover mode with the Oak Furniture Lounge Bank Holiday Sale, where you can save on every range. Save on a luxurious bed for waking up ready to seize brighter days, a stylish sofa to sprawl on once the garden's prepped for summer, or a stunning dining table and chairs for entertaining the night away. And right now, enjoy 3 years interest-free credit and no deposit to pay from just $4.99. The Oak Furniture Lounge Bank Holiday Sale ends Monday. Finance T's and C's apply. Oak Furniture Lounge is a credit broker, not a lender.
Bet UK have got some mad offers.
Like what? Free bets?
Yeah, man. £30 in free bets when you bet £10.
You joking? Really?
Yeah. And even with a free bet, I still wouldn't back your team.
Oh, whatever, mate.
Whatever you think. Visit betuk.com or download the app to get your £30 in free bets. Bet UK. It's where the UK bets.
New customers only, £10 minimum bet. Minimum odds and T&Cs apply. 18 plus, please gamble responsibly.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave. On your mobile and on your smart speaker. Talk Sport. Talk Sport. News.
With your 11:30 headlines, I'm Jenny Barnsby. 711 migrants crossed the Channel in small boats yesterday, the highest daily total this year. This puts arrivals for 2024 at just over 8,000, 34% higher than this time in 2023. Immigration lawyer Harjap Singh Bangal says the people smugglers seem unstoppable.
Are you trying to say that we can go and get Bin Laden, we can go and get Gaddafi, we can go and get Saddam, who are holed up in their strongholds, pick them up, put these people on trial, and yet we can't stop these gangs?
Meanwhile, a third man's been charged with an immigration offence after 5 migrants died trying to cross the Channel last week. Elsewhere, and protesters have surrounded a coach in South London sent to transport asylum seekers to the Bibby Stockholm barge. It's understood 8 people staying at the Best Western in Peckham were due to be moved this morning. A 36-year-old man's appeared in court charged with the murder of a 14-year-old boy in East London. Marcus Aurelio Monzo is also accused of 2 counts of attempted murder and 2 of grievous bodily harm. John Swinney has become the first person to announce he's running to be the next leader of the SNP and Scotland's First Minister. Nominations to replace Humza Yousaf finish at noon on Monday, and nearly 40,000 lightning strikes have hit the UK since 9:30 last night. There's a yellow warning for thunderstorms across central England in place until midnight.
Talk Sport with Bostik. If you're looking for a professional grade sealant that offers technologically advanced performance, choose Bostik Pro Sealants.
Brian Garcia's dramatic win over Devin Haney has been thrown into doubt after he tested positive for Ostarine. And is Eric Ten Hag to blame for Jadon Sancho's flop time at Manchester United? Max will have those answers at midday.
Drax Corporation, we've been expecting you.
The performance was absolutely disgusting.
Mr. Brown?
Time after time after time, I make an 8-hour round trip to watch drivel.
Mr. Brown?
Literally drivel.
We don't do football!
I'm sorry, Mr. Blurfield. I seem to have dialed the wrong number.
If you really want to talk about the football, don't call the Drax Corporation. Call Mark Goldbridge.
Passionate post-match analysis and flaming fan reaction. Direct from the goal mouth to the goal bridge. Saturday night from 7:30 on TalkSport.
But while you're on, I wonder if you'd be interested in buying a Horses Bum plane launcher.
It's showtime on TalkSport with BetMGM. Get ready for the golden era in sports betting. Visit betmgm.co.uk or download the app. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
Yeah, it's BetMGM time. It's just gone 11:30. And normally, Simon, at this stage, I say we're now joined by Matt Gibson from BetMGM. We actually are. If you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, and I know many of you do that on a daily basis now, you'll see Mr. Gibson in studio with Lord Jordan and myself, and we will look at today's top sporting events and discuss the latest odds. Look at this, Simon. Couldn't help himself to wear the colours of the mighty Leeds United.
Got to come down and show the badge, haven't I?
Well done, mate. Well done.
I would imagine you're feeling quite reticent about wearing it, given the fact your team have choked their way into the playoffs.
It's not a surprise for us, mate. It's gutting, but I'm not surprised at all.
Are you going to get there to the promised land?
Well, we'll see. Trust in Daniel Thacker. Is all I'll say now.
All right, Matt. Very diplomatic, mate. Good to have you on board. Probably like me, you were doing a bit of channel hopping last night. Champions League, there was plenty going on. There was a snooker going on. What have you got for us this morning then, Matt?
Yeah, very much between the Champions League and the snooker. Dortmund getting past PSG, which I think is good for the tie. PSG going 1-up to into Paris. Fulkrug scored the goal, but Rio Ferdinand liked the look of Jadon Sancho last night. Last weekend, Jadon Sancho became the most prolific Englishman in the Bundesliga. Do you know who he went past, Simon?
Prolific Englishman?
Yeah.
Englishman in the Bundesliga?
Yeah.
Throw it to us.
A chap called Tony Woodcock.
Tony Woodcock?
Yeah, yes.
Before my time.
Cologne, yes?
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, Cologne.
Doncaster Rovers as well in there, I think.
Very good player, Tony Woodcock. Arsenal, you will know him very well.
Yeah.
Jadon went to 40 league goals. Considering Harry Kane is on 35, I don't think the record will last long. But he has got that until Harry Kane gets there.
I wonder what Big Rambo got. McInally playing for Bayern Munich. Scottish, of course. We'll get our researchers on that.
He's probably got about 2.
He's a centre forward.
In terms of the snooker, it was a pretty mad night at the Crucible. Both Ronnie and Trump crashing out. They were the two favourites in the betting. Karen Wilson's now gone into 6-5 favourite. Bingham beat Ronnie. He's 9-4 to go all the way. The last time he won a World Championship, he beat none other than Ronnie O'Sullivan on his way to do it. So 9-4 is probably not bad value, but we've seen the two favourites crash out, which is a huge shock to all of us.
Again, Simon, I've got to do it. On your podcast, you spoke to Stephen Henry.
I did.
Who said, I'd rather my record isn't beaten by O'Sullivan. I'd rather it's kept intact. I mean, he's currently tied at 7 with Stephen Henry.
Yes.
And last night, Ronnie crashes out. Maybe Stephen's going to get his wish.
Could be. And again, at Index Back to My Podcast, that was one of John Terry's biggest heroes was Stephen Hendry. And when I put the allegation to him that Ronnie O'Sullivan was the better, he was having none of it.
Really. Strangely enough, Matt, I mean, it wasn't lost on me that it didn't seem to mean much to Ronnie O'Sullivan. Have a listen.
I wasn't actually going to be playing in this one until a new sponsor come along and said, alright, cool. So I wasn't being a fan of Manchester or this because of how I was feeling about playing. So they twisted my arm. So yeah, like I said, it's first come, first served. There's so many things to do in life, man. I've got such a busy, good life, you know. It's sort of like I've probably done some painting with Damien. Had some nice food with him, took the dogs out, spent time with Layla, see my children. Gone to Champions, maybe spent 4 or 5 days there. I mean, there's so many nice things to do. I'd have come here, spent some days doing some stuff at Eurosport, running in the peaks, going to the gym, eating good food. Yeah, life. But yeah, that's what I would have probably done. You know, probably sound boring to you guys, but it's bloody exciting to me.
Now, Ronnie's not that bothered, Simon, is he? He's got other things to look forward to in life.
In context, I mean, absolutely. It's not the Bill Shankly thing, is it?
No. Snooker it's not a matter of life or death. I know where you were going with that one. Anyway, so Ronnie is out, and that was that. So Matt, what are you doing tonight? Are you going to watch Villa in the Conference League, or are you going to watch Chelsea against Tottenham?
It's another channel hopping thing, isn't it? Villa in their first major European semi-final in 42 years.
They take on Olympiacos. Interesting, Ollie Watkins has scored the opener in 2 of the Villa's home European sides. We've got him a 3-1 to score first, and we've actually boosted him to score at least 2 goals at 13-2. Elsewhere, the battle at the bridge, weirdly, I think Pochettino could have been Spurs manager when that famous game happened all those years ago.
Yeah.
Spurs got 2 games in hand on Villa, but they'd still be 1 point behind, even if they won both. And Chelsea had lost one of those at Stamford Bridge. So Chelsea are favourites at 6-5. Spurs 41-20. I think there's real value in the draw, particularly a score draw with the Postecoglou side at 3-1.
Okay. BetMGM Premier League darts tonight in Aberdeen, up in the northeast of Scotland. So what have you got for us in that one?
It is. We've got Aberdeen, Leeds, Sheffield, and then we're into the final at the O2. Probably the standout quarter-final is Luke Littler taking on his mate Nathan Aspinall. Interestingly, Michael Smith plays Peter Wright. Michael Smith is currently 5th. He really needs to get off the ride a little bit if he's going to make that top 4. Luke Littler and Luke Humphries, like I said last week, can pretty much start looking at accommodation for the O2. But as always, I'll give the 9 dart price at 6-1.
Okay. Listen, if your beloved Leeds United do not make it to the Premier League, do you stick with Daniel Farke?
I'd like to think so. I think there's rumours coming out of the club that the Niners will stick with him no matter what. I think he's done a decent job this year. Any other normal championship season, they're probably up there, but you've got to beat what's in front of you. They've slipped up too many times. Rotherham away, Sheffield Wednesday at home, Stoke away, dropping points. Although we beat those around us, you can't really do that in championship when it's coming out thick and fast. But Huddersfield did us a favour last time we went up in 2020. Emmy Smith-Rowe scored a goal against West Brom, and that cemented our promotion under Bielsa. I wonder if Huddersfield can do the same thing.
You know your stuff.
And get past Ipswich. Us to beat Southampton and Huddersfield to beat Ipswich is 16-1. So if there's any Leeds fans dreaming of the automatic, that's not a bad price for a double. But Mr. Jordan's convinced we're playoffs.
Straws, I'm clutching it.
What I have got on the floor, Simon, is a shirt that should we make the Promised Land automatic.
Come on.
Would you do the show live in it on Monday?
I will indeed.
If we make it.
Yes, we're out there. Her dad is a very good friend of mine. He's a massive Leeds fan, so I'll be happy to do it.
You're going to wear that Leeds shirt?
I'm happy to, if Leeds go up, I'm happy to do it. I'm a big admirer of the football club, so I've got no problem doing it.
Even
After I've done it, I shall wipe my jacksie with it.
Even if we go up by the playoffs, would you do it?
Oh, don't push the bleed now.
That's a yes. It's an extra large, mate, is it? That's good.
Very much so.
Okay, Matt, listen, while you're very popular with us, we just met your pal Sean from BetMGM, who's from Inverclyde, Simon, and speaks more like me. So, yes, he'll be very welcome on this show. Nothing you're not,
It's a delight for me. I bump into Brazil in the morning. I endure you during the day. I have Souness on Mondays.
Yeah, you're going to have Sean
I feel like I'm an honorary Scot.
Matt, thank you very much indeed, and brilliant. Remember to bring that back in, and we'll get him to wear that Leeds shirt as and when, or if, Leeds United make it to the Promised Land. That was a look at the latest odds, all thanks to BetMGM. Visit betmgm.co.uk or you've got to be 18 and over. BeGambleAware.org.
It's showtime on TalkSport with BetMGM. Making every game an occasion with tools that'll help you play safe. 18+, BeGambleAware.org.
That news overnight, the world of boxing, Ryan Garcia testing positive for the performance-enhancing substance Ostarine. It just so happens it's a Thursday, and that means we talk boxing anyway, and we shall do, from 12 onwards with Spencer Oliver and Ben Shalom.
White and Jordan on TalkSport with Selco. Register for your trade card online at selcobw.com or in the branches.
It's time to stop spinning. Feel those dials turn down and off. So when the grid is busy, relying on fossil fuels, you're a washing machine, drifting into a power nap. Want help shifting your energy to greener times? OVO's Alexa skill can help. Just say, Alexa, open OVO Power Nap.
White and Jordan on TalkSport with Selco. For everyday low trade prices on all your essential building materials, visit your local branch or head to selcobw.com.
At BetMGM, we know how to put on a show. That's why they got me, Chris Rock, to tell you about BetMGM's golden offers. Sign up to BetMGM, bet £10, and get £40 in free bets. We're making every game an occasion. Get ready for the golden era in sports betting. BetMGM. It's showtime.
New customers only. Wagering requirements and conditions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
You can sense the glory.
What a night.
The semi-finals, where each match is epic.
Oh, that's a stunner.
It's unscripted.
Wow, this is the shock of all shocks.
Spontaneous drama.
It's astonishing.
This is where the season is defined. Every game,
What a story.
totally unmissable. The UEFA Champions League, Europa League and Conference League semi-finals, only on TNT Sports.
Look into my crystal ball. I can see your future. Yes, I can see laughter and joy. I hear music, there's dancing. And I see dinner. Yes, a tasty meal, a city break somewhere nice. And oh, train strikes. I see train strikes.
Strike's about to ruin your plans. Better get a Travelodge. Find great value city centre rooms at travelodge.co.uk.
Hi, I'm Danny Dyer, and welcome to What's That Smell? Oof, smoky with a hint of burgers. It's my barbecue apron. Luckily, I can make this smell like freshly picked lilies. Just pop it in the washing machine, add some Surf Tropical Lily laundry detergent, and oh, my fave. It smells like my dream holiday. Get long-lasting fragrance with natural essential oils with Surf laundry detergent. You can make anything purr with Surf.
Summer is coming. With Lidl, be super ready. Get 15% off our award-winning deluxe Aberdeen Angus beef burgers to kickstart barbie season. They're now just $2.54 with Lidl Plus. Download the Lidl Plus app and start saving today.
Subject to availability, valid until the 8th of May 24. 18 plus. GB residents. Full T's and C's apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
So many small cars to choose from. This one looks like that one, which looks like, oh, the new Suzuki Swift. This is the one.
Yep, standard reaction to the new Suzuki Swift, which comes with serious style, a choice of cool colours, and loads of tech as standard. Oh, and it's available with 0% APR for 2 years. Want to be one of the first behind the wheel? Search Suzuki Swift to book your test drive and get set to feel good different. Participating dealers only. Suzuki Financial Services Limited. T's and C's apply. See cars at suzuki.co.uk/offers.
Braintree in Hampshire exposed north out of junction 6 at Bailey Stoke after an accident causing delays. Stop at the A14 is stopped each way by an accident behind at Stone after keeping both towards there. The M6 in the West Midlands with northbound delays after an accident earlier in junctions 9 and 10 at Birmingham. In Flintshire Road, M41 is facing trial on Bentley Road in Mull after a tyre. And in Belfast on the A12 Westland through southbound exit should be heading down at junction 1. This car was lost by a breakdown. Mr. Holding, this is Simon Jordan on Talk Sport.
A daily landscape of fire, football and fuel, towering from two giants of sports broadcasting, Jim White and Simon Jordan. Good mornings on Talk Sport.
From the capital city of the United States of America, Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen,
Steve McMahon from BetMGM. Sam just give us fans out there, those watching on YouTube and Facebook, what an absolute pleasure it was to see the face behind BetMGM's voice. Matt, over the weeks that have gone by.
They're good lads, aren't they?
They're good lads.
They're good lads.
Yeah, good to have Matt in studio with us. It's time now to round up some of football's top business stories with Tesco Mobile for Business.
Simon Jordan's Football Business Roundup on Talk Sport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Join Tesco Mobile and get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. Tesco Mobile, every little helps. For applicable terms and verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
Two different stories I want to touch on, Simon. In a second, I want to touch on something Sir Jim has done. Sir Jim Ratcliffe at Manchester United. Keen to get your take on that. Keen to get your take on this. It's often said that parachute payments create a disparity in the Championship. They give an unfair advantage to those who have come down. I just wonder if the last 2 seasons do more to add weight to that argument or disprove it. Because last season, Burnley, Sheffield United promoted with parachute payments, but Luton were the outlier. This season, Leicester up with parachute payments. Where's your head with this? I mean, the last 2 seasons, as I say, does it add weight to that argument or does it disprove it?
Well, I think it's one of those arguments that almost has a false equivalency, because I got Palace promoted without parachute payments. Parish got Palace promoted without parachute payments. There were other clubs that have got promoted without parachute payments. There are clubs that have got promoted on the third year of their parachute payments when the parachute contribution is much less.
Yeah.
So, what would you rather have? And this is the argument I've had with Rick Parry, who was the architect, the intellectual capital behind parachute payments. His argument now is it's gone too far.
Yeah.
Its quantum is too much. What do? You go up to a Premier League where the average wage bill is so significant that in order for you to compete, you've got to be able to match it, or give yourself some sort of opportunity to spend a reasonable amount of money. You can't get players to sign one-year contracts, so if you get relegated again, you don't carry the liability down with you. So you need to have some sort of cushion when you land. The argument is, well, when you land, you've got a material advantage because you've got more money. Yeah, you've also got a wage bill 3 times the size of everybody else.
Yeah.
So there is a balancing fact.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you square the circle of the argument that suggests that it is not right for the level. Because without a level, you don't get clubs going into the Premier League. The Premier League product gets diminished. Teams that go up get automatically relegated because they can't compete, and the status quo gets maintained. If you come down with big parachute payments, then you disadvantage the league beneath you because you've got more money than everyone else, but you've got more costs as well. So while statistically it does prove the fact that ultimately the clubs that go down with parachute payments are statistically more likely to come up, I don't honestly believe that there's a better way to do it besides raising the distribution levels up from the overall distribution and bridging the gap by making more money available to the pyramid in the first instance.
Right.
That's how I would look at it being done.
Sure.
I think what Rick wants to do is I think he wants to reduce parachute payments, shave some of that dough off, drop that as part of the distribution mechanism, raise the overall distribution, so all of a sudden Championship clubs, rather than getting £8 million, might be getting £25 million this season.
Right.
So they're already closer to the 100 million additional monies that you get in the Premier League.
Just in the passing, Simon, I mentioned it to Matt Gibson, Leeds United supporting Matt Gibson from MGM. If Leeds, say Southampton, say the two of them fail to get promoted back to the Premier League at the first time of asking, what would that mean, do you think, for Farke at Leeds, Russell Martin at Southampton?
I think it would mean they've got to stop playing it, because you can't carry the squad costs that you've got there with the decrease in revenue, because the second year parachute payment is less than the first year parachute payment, so already you've got a loss of income as a result of it. I don't know whether it would mean either one of those managers would lose their jobs, but I certainly think that they'd have a degree of pressure raining down on them, and specifically Daniel Farke, because of the profile of Leeds. Southampton, big club, Premier League football club, but doesn't have, sounds awful, and I don't mean it to sound this way, but doesn't have quite the cachet that Leeds has. And I think the Leeds job comes with more pressure than the Southampton job does.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
But I'm sure Southampton fans will disagree with that.
Well, I don't know. I think you're right. I mean, the groundswell following says it all. Leeds were massive support, haven't they?
Yeah.
Simon, what's the deal with when you drop down into the championship? Experience. Do you throw all your eggs in one basket and say, right, we're down here, we've got to get back up at the first attempt, no matter what?
Yeah, of course you do, because ultimately once the lights get turned down on you in the last game of the season, you're dwelling in the championship and you don't want to be there. You want to get out of that miserable division as quickly as you possibly can, despite the fact it's a brilliant division, it's competitive, it's the fifth largest supported league in European football. Sod it, you want to be in the Premier League, that's where you want to be.
Right.
Now when we went down, under my ownership, there was a difference, because normally what happens is you have a fire sale. I had a current England player, Andy Johnson, that was being touted by agents like Leon Angel, thought they had a mandate to sell the player, got slung off my training ground because they didn't. And I kept him. And I kept him, he was an England player, and he was told to get the squad together. So my expectations were even greater of getting promoted the first season. That's why whenever you see me and John Fashanu in the studio, there's a little bit of rancor, because he wrote an article about people like me suggesting that the football club should get promoted in the first season is the wrong thing to do and put pressure on people, because football people wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That's why we don't sort of see eye to eye when we see one another, because I think he's a bit of a clown. But the point is that I expected my team to go straight up the following season.
Yeah.
Straight up the following season. And I think every owner does. And then becomes, what do you do when you don't? What happened when we didn't?
Exactly.
Because I had the mother of all fallout.
Not everybody can.
Which resulted in him being in court the following year, because we didn't care, we got knocked out in the playoffs the following season by Watford and Ashley Young.
Yeah.
Who's another person I hold a great grudge against.
Praise God, goes on that same
Okay, all right. The mother of all fallouts. You've had a few of those, haven't you?
Oh, sometimes with football people you do.
That was a roundup of football stock business stories with Tesco Mobile for Business.
Simon Jordan's Football Business Roundup on TalkSport with Tesco Mobile for Business. Join Tesco Mobile and get business phone bills for up to 40% less than the big mobile networks. Tesco Mobile. Every little helps. For applicable terms and verification, see tescomobile.com/business.
I think we're agreed, Simon. We're impressed with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I mean, who wouldn't be?
Well, I'm impressed with his business record, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. This is a man, of course, who now has a sizable stake in Manchester United. And now we hear Sir Jim has ordered Manchester United's non-football staff back into their offices in Manchester and London.
Get in there, Sir Jim. Absolutely right.
Insisting the club now has to end its work-from-home culture. Have you, people who are out there this morning and you're working, but maybe you've got your earpods in, you're listening to us, and I'm glad that you are. But do you frown upon those who continue to work from home? Because like Simon and myself, we know that work from home means you do nothing. It's effectively time off. You're not working, you're skiving. So Sir Jim has said, all right, none of this doesn't go on any longer, and I'm ending the work from home culture. I like that.
Look, despite the protestations of those that want to work at home, and some of those lazy strokes look at the building out here.
In this very place.
In this very place.
Well,
although there's certain people like Luke that I'd like to work from home.
Yes.
Because I don't want to have to see him then.
Yeah.
But every grown-up knows that you get more effectivity, more development of culture, more work ethic, more diversity of thinking, more diversity of experience if people are in a workplace. Those that don't think that are the ones that want to work at home because it suits their lifestyle. And that's fantastic. Life is like, I suppose, a bit of a pup sandwich. The more bread you make, the less pup you eat. So you go to work to be successful, to have a better life out of it. I normally use a different way, but you see I've adapted for radio. Right? Yeah. And there is no doubt in 95% of professions that in order to achieve outcomes that develop the individual, to meet their expectations of the work environment, and of course the business's expectations of them, being present where you can be monitored, trained, engaged, focused on, and have work disciplines, rather than ordering a Domino's pizza, scratching your nuts and waiting for the Amazon delivery, is not what the most sensible businessmen think is the way to operate.
Yes! You're not really putting yourself under much pressure with a work
So well done, Jim, because you need a culture, and absolutely right, and that shows the grown-up thinking that's going on. Football should not be immune from it. Disciplines, focus, culture, outlook, work ethic, motivation.
Yeah.
Starts from there.
Having said that, it's not going to make United any better on the pitch, is it?
No, but you're building an overriding asset inside every aspect of the football club. So if the culture is right in every window that you look at Manchester United through should be the vision that Manchester United wants you to have of it. And that should mean that your players should have the right work ethic, the right culture, the right disciplines. Your manager should have suits that fit him, and your commercial staff should be in the business, running the business properly and effectively.
Exactly.
Well done.
Many should get in touch this lunchtime agreeing with Sir Jim, because when you say you're working from home, you're not. You're skiving. Coming up to 12 noon.
White and Jordan on TalkSport with Selco. For everyday low trade prices on all your essential building materials, visit your local branch or head to selcobw.com.
It's time to stop spinning. Feel those dials turn down and off. So when the grid is busy, relying on fossil fuels, you're a washing machine drifting into a power nap. Want help shifting your energy to greener times? OVO's Alexa skill can help. Just say, Alexa, open OVO Power Nap.
Yeah, mate. Big man to score anytime I'm backing him.
Oh, it looks like it's the big man who's coming off.
Oh, he's going to struggle to score from the bench, pal.
Oh. Fear not, punter, because with Paddy Power's Super Sub, your bet carries over to the player coming on.
Y'all ready for this?
So now, all subs are super. Paddy Power. Football, you're gonna love it.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Pre-match and in-play bets on qualifying player outcome selections only. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+ begambleaware.org.
And there it is. That's as good as it gets on this stage. Nissan Townstar EV strikes again. It's an unstoppable van. Unstoppable.
It's just fantastic. You can actually see the ProPilot technology in action. Effortless parallel parking.
It moves with all the confidence that comes with a 5-year warranty.
And with a bench full of all-star van experts, there's real strength in depth here.
That's all-star quality.
Search Nissan Townstar EV and visit visit your local All-Star Van Centre to see for yourself.
Terms and conditions apply. 5 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first.
ProPilot is an advanced driver assist technology. Driver's responsibility to stay alert, drive safely, and control vehicle at all times.
You've got a paintwork scratch, bumper scuff or minor dent. Want it fixed like new? Of course you do. At Chips Away, we don't judge, we just fix it. Enter a few details online for a free, no obligation estimate. We'll come to you, or you can visit one of our car care centres. For professional, affordable car body repairs with a lifetime guarantee, visit chipsaway.co.uk. Chips Away, like it never happened.
With Now, you can stream the biggest action on Sky Sports instantly and without a contract. Absolutely brilliant. This Sunday, Liverpool face Tottenham at Anfield. But that's not all. Catch the final day drama from the EFL Championship, the Miami Grand Prix, and the finals of the Madrid Open Tennis. Get all Sky Sports channels for a day or a whole month with a Now Sports membership. Stream a big weekend of sport live with Now. Head to nowtv.com.
18 plus Sky Sports content streamed via internet. Full terms apply.
All the big names are here. Ooh, who's that?
I think she was in the movie about that really big shark.
No, not her. The florist.
She's automating invoices on the go so she can spend more time on that flower wall.
QuickBooks can save you up to 8 hours a week, so you can bring your vision to life. That's how you business differently. It's with QuickBooks.
Don't know where to start your next paint project? At Wix, find all the inspiration and help you'll need. Crux Dulux Standard 2.5 litre colour emulsion was £21, now 15. Terms apply.
Kick off your Saturday with Game Day Breakfast on TalkSport with goals. The free football pull-out with the Sun. Lace up your boots for the nation's brightest sports breakfast with insider matchday news, big game previews and exclusive interviews from Tony Cascarino and Natalie Sawyer. You better believe it! Get fully loaded for football with Game Day Breakfast, Saturday morning from 6 on TalkSport with goals. The essential free football pull-out with the Sun every Saturday, Sunday and Monday.
Smart speaker. Talk Sport. Talk Sport.
Read the bookers. Choose from 30 manufacturers and over 6,000 vehicles online. New or used, small or grande, we've got something for every taste.
Good afternoon, I'm Max Scott here with your sports headlines. Ryan Garcia's dramatic win over Devin Haney's been thrown into doubt.
Everybody knows that I don't cheat.
Well, not VADA, Ryan. The anti-doping test found the banned substance ostarine in his system. TalkSport's boxing expert Gareth A. Davis had this to say on the matter.
I think it's criminal. It's a PED that gives you leaner muscle mass. It's a very serious drug that should not be in your body if you're using your body as a weapon against a man or another woman.
With Jadon Sancho now impressing on the biggest stage, is Ten Hag the reason he flopped at United? Friend of TalkSport and European football journalist Gav Marcotti seems to think so.
I think it's pretty obvious that he's having a broken relationship with his manager at Old Trafford, and he doesn't at Borussia Dortmund.
Sancho starred in Dortmund's 1-0 win over PSG last night. In the first half, he completed more dribbles than he did in his entire 58-game spell at United. In other European football, Villa take on Olympiacos in the Conference League semi-final, which you can listen to live on TalkSport 2 tonight. And after an electrifying outing in Mallorca, TalkSport's heard one reason why Billy Vunipola let things get out of hand on his weekend off.
He hadn't drunk for about 2 years.
Right.
And then he decided to have a few drinks. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. He's on holiday, he's chilling, but he's probably had a few too many.
That was England international Joe Marler speaking to Alan and Gabby this morning. Saracens say they'll take no further action after Vunipola had an altercation which led into being tasered twice by police in Mallorca.
TalkSport News.
Yesterday saw 711 migrants cross the Channel, the highest daily number so far this year. And John Swinney's become the first person to announce he's running to be the next leader of the SNP. And we will have more in half an hour.
All weather with QuickFit. With over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week, we're always there when you need us. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Staying west in the south and southwest with some heavy thundery rain, drier elsewhere with some sunny spells.
100% engagement. Jim White and Simon Jordan on TalkSport.
Would you please
around 3 minutes past 12 noon, and here is somebody else who refuses to work from home because he's with us right here in studio. Mr. Spencer Oliver, good afternoon to you.
Jim, Simon, how are you both?
Very good indeed, Spencer. A lot to get through.
What's wrong with him? Is he in a bad mood today?
No, he asked me how I was and I just feigned disinterest.
Oh, I see, I see. That empty chair to Spencer's left is about to be occupied by Southwestern promoter Ben Shalom, who is in the building and is about to walk through that door and join us. And we begin this Thursday lunchtime on a serious note because the world of boxing again, in the eyes of many, has next to no integrity because it was reported overnight that Ryan Garcia tested positive for the performance-enhancing substance Ostarine the day before and the day after his win over Devin Haney just last month. Urine samples were collected prior to the fight. The results weren't known until later, and many people are saying, what is the sense in that? Surely you need to know the results before the fight takes place. Anyway, Garcia is telling everybody who cares to listen, this is fake news.
I came on here to address this board claim that I cheated. Everybody knows that I don't cheat. What can I say? Why didn't they come out with this before, the fight if they founded people? Why would they let me step in the ring as a cheater and then come out with the victory and then post this, Again, these are people that are trying to attack me for whatever reason, but no weapon against me shall prosper. I've never taken a steroid. I don't even know where to get steroids at the end of the day. I barely, take supplements. They're saying it's coming from the ashwagandha. Big lies. I beat his out of here. Everybody go to Warwick tonight. It's lit.
So that was Ryan Garcia. Ben Shalom has joined Spencer, myself and Simon in the studio. For his part, Devin Haney has said, we learned about this situation not that long ago. It's unfortunate Ryan cheated and disrespected both the fans and the sport of boxing by fighting dirty. Ryan owes the fans an apology. You don't play at boxing. This puts the fight in a completely different light. Despite the disadvantage, I still fought on my shield and got back up. People die in this sport. This is no joke. Spencer and Ben are with us. Spencer, we heard from Simon earlier and Adam Castle earlier, and there was some very strong views on this morning. What's your take on, what was your reaction when you heard about Garcia?
Very, very disappointed. 26 years ago today, I nearly lost my life in the ring, life-threatening injuries. I had to rebuild from that, so I know the dangers better than anyone of what it is when you get in that ring. You want it to be a level playing field. Anyone that does drugs, I don't condone drugs. I don't think it's acceptable that they're in the sport of boxing. This is a combat sport, gladiatorial sport. People can lose their lives in there. Yeah. I nearly lost mine. And I think that this is a case of, he's been caught, and I think it's a disgrace, and I think there should be a heavier punishment. I think I just don't agree with any of it. I think anyone that gets caught with doing drugs in a sport like boxing should be banned for life. And that's the way I feel about it. I'm fed up with it. I'm sick and tired of all these kids saying, you know what, I didn't realise what it was. I don't even know what that drug is. If that was the case, then how did I come in at 3.5 pounds overweight? Well, then you do know what the drug is, because you're talking about the weight issues that it is, and it's a muscle building thing, and it would have dropped your weight as well. So he knows only too well what that drug is, and he's trying to say that he didn't know what it was. How does it get in his system? Listen, it's not acceptable. I think that you need to start throwing the book at these people. I think it's a disgrace that people, it's going on too often.
Spencer, that was a strong start, that is for sure. Ben Shalom joins us. Ben, it's your sport. You're a promoter in the sport. There's a huge responsibility on promoters to make sure the fighters are clean. And of course it should be stressed, Garcia is saying this is fake news, that he was clean in his view. But something's got to happen, has it not?
It does, but at least he's been caught. I do think in the US that there is a huge problem. Bigger problem than over in the UK. I think the sophistication levels now of the science and the doctors behind it and the cycles and the way that they can get it in their system and protect it from being caught is pretty sophisticated, and sometimes more sophisticated than the testing systems itself. So I think it's a positive that he's been caught on such a big stage in a way, because I do think there's fighters that do get away with it as well. Obviously,
does he not need to be caught though, Ben, before he fights?
Listen, no, but I've looked. There's been similar situations that I've been involved in, and I think unless you're going to say, okay, we won't get in the ring until the results come back. But then then maybe the last test is on the Tuesday. And people leave it till late, and people know the cycles, people know when they're going to get tested. It takes a certain period of time for a test to come back. That's the same in the Olympics as it is in boxing.
But are you saying, Ben, that the reasons why you test on the Friday, if you do indeed say that, you test on a Friday, with results not coming until after the fight, which then brings the sport and the viewers' participation into disrepute because they're looking at something that isn't what they thought they were looking at, and they would want their money back. The broadcasters are looking at a game, we charge pay-per-view. Are you saying that they do that because there's simply no way of testing earlier because people cycle it out, even if it were 36 hours earlier?
I think
you're going to say people are able to cycle it out at that time.
I think the feeling is they're most likely to catch something the day before.
Listen, the test was done the day before the contest, and they only got the results back after the contest. And my argument is, if they can't get the results back before that contest, at what cost? We're talking about life here when when you're seeing these situations, and I just think that it's tragic that
what we're trying to evaluate is, and we understand that, and that's a very valid point that you've made. What we're trying to understand is the principles, the orthodoxy of the thinking. Why do you test at the last minute? Because ultimately, after the event is too late, and you're now you have the risk to the fighters, and then you have the credibility of the sport, where someone's gone in, been juiced, won a fight, and the whole credibility of the sport goes down the toilet. So I'm trying to understand, is it a financial concern that the promoters have, that they've got an event on, they do not want to jeopardise the economics of the event because it's a payday, it generates huge returns? Or is there something else? Why does the testing take so long? And so on and so forth.
You can be cynical and say the payday's so big that it's late. But no, I think, because it's not the promoters in my case that test the fighters, it's the governing body, isn't it? It's the regulator.
Shouldn't the purse be kept in an escrow or something so that if they do fail the test?
I think they test as late as possible because they think that's the most likely time where they're going to catch someone.
But then you've got a situation where somebody goes into the ring without the results of the test, and then it's all too late. The punters paid their money, the fighter's taking it,
and the danger's been caused.
That's the problem, Ben. Simon's right. A lot of the people who went to the fight, who would pay huge money to watch Garcia fight Haney, massive money to get a decent seat, may well have watched something that wasn't what it was portrayed to be.
No, I agree. I'm not trying to justify it. I think it is clearly disgraceful, but it's clearly what I'm trying to say is it's much wider than Ryan Garcia. I think this is a serious problem in the sport.
You as a promoter, you're a gatekeeper. You have the ability to change this. You've had this challenge yourself with Amir Khan, and the challenges that come are as a result of Amir Khan failing his drugs test after the Kell Brook fights. What are you saying? It's simply logistically and anatomically impossible to get a fighter tested up until the last possible minute to get the results back and pull that fighter out prior to a fight? Is that logistically impossible?
I can't comment on anatomically. Logistically, of course, you can test as many times as you want, whenever you want, on any day that you want, all the way up until the fight. What I don't know is how quickly can they get a test back before a fight? Because all that's going to happen if you say we've got to wait for the test, I just know that window. I know that window is the window that the regulators and the governing bodies feel is the best time to test the fighter, because that's the time where they've been able to cycle it out.
Why does it take 24, 36 hours for the laboratories to get tests back, and sometimes even longer? Why is that taking that amount of time? You talk to the laboratories, you must know.
For me, that's something that I believe isn't just in boxing. I think that happens in the Olympics. I think that happens in many sports. I think it takes that time for them to take the test, get it to the laboratories, make sure that the tests are right, and then report on the test. I think there is a time process.
You've got to know the result before they fight.
No, of course you do. But I'm saying the reason they're testing so late is because they are trying to make. Yeah, they are.
If you use the example of the Olympics, well, nobody really cares if Ben Johnson runs faster. They certainly do care. They do care because it's obviously complete sporting integrity, the athletes competing. But no one gets to die as a result of Ben Johnson running quicker than Carl Lewis. They get to die if somebody has the prerequisite amount of power. And I'm just trying to find the boxing orthodoxy, because a lot of this mythology was the same for me when I walked in football. We don't do things this way, don't do that. When you test it, well, why don't you do things that way? Oh, because that's the conventional wisdom. Well, it appears to me the conventional wisdom needs to change, because you're not at pace with the drug cheats.
I agree, it's all down to the speed of the turnaround of the test, isn't it? And that's
You're
what's causing the danger.
Spencer.
I am, yeah, because about 24 hours should be enough to get those tests back, because we're talking, like I said to you, at what cost? We're talking about life here, you know, in certain circumstances, with people, you know, drug cheats going in. And the reason they're taking the drugs and doing that is because the ban isn't sufficient enough. They're getting a slap on the wrist, and they might get a 2-year ban, but risk versus the reward is
They should get a lot of them as well. They should get a lot of them. And that's why if a fighter gets done, then his trainer should go down with him as well.
Absolutely, the whole
and then you soon
everybody
see,
knows what's going on.
You don't like that idea?
I think there are fighters that do things behind closed doors with their nutritionists away from their trainers, and I know trainers themselves who've come to me and been nervous to take on fighters because they're not sure about their character, they're not sure what they're doing, and I think sometimes there are things that happen without the training.
You start sticking trainers and nutritionists and everyone else in the mix, you'll soon see this start to wheedle its way out.
Yeah, I hate saying it. Conor Ben, Sandman and I are agreed on this. You guys know better than me. Lovely guy, but there's still people out there who say mud stakes, whether Conor protests his innocence or not. They'll say, by association, I've now got a doubt about Conor Ben. People will now have a doubt about Ryan Garcia.
Listen, a bail test is a bail test, and that is facts. And if you can't prove your innocence, if you can't prove how that got into your body, if you can't prove how that got into your system, then you're guilty. That is a fact, and that goes with Conor Ben, Ryan Garcia, or any of them. We've nearly 2 years on with Conor Ben. We still haven't had the answers. So the facts are the facts. Go by the facts.
So you'd have had Tyson Fury and Canelo Alvarez.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, listen, Simon, we're talking about life here. You know, we're talking about cleaning up the sport, and you're talking about a gladiatorial sport where people do get injured and people do die. And I mean, so until things change, people will continue doing it.
The thing is, Ben, you start banning boxers for life. I wonder how many of them would be left to fight.
Look, I think I do agree with Spencer on that. As much as I'm a promoter and I can see the dangers for someone that promotes Canelo or someone that promotes now Ryan Garcia, their whole company is going to be in tatters for a while, and and they're sat there saying it's nothing to do with us. But from a sporting perspective, unless the bans are harsh enough, it's just go and go. Boxers only box once or twice a year at the best of times at that top level. So being banned for a couple of years doesn't really change much in a boxer's career in a 15-year span. So unless they're serious enough, it will continue.
Simon, we're going to have to agree. There's a great question from Adam, one of the listeners. So what happens to the winnings that Garcia must have netted from his multi-million-pound bet that he placed in himself? He was telling everybody, if indeed he ends up having been found to be a cheat.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the promoters and the fighters, so that's got to do with the betting company. I'm assuming the betting company will be after that.
Do you feel, though, that the purses, before they're paid out, until we get those results back, whatever it is, the purses should be put in escrow, and if they're proven guilty or they failed a drugs test, then that purse, they shouldn't be reaping their rewards.
I agree with that. It does seem that it's almost been a bank robbery type job.
Absolutely.
You get it done, you get in the ring, you get your money, and you run off. And you're able to run off with your purse, and then you can argue about it later. I agree that's a discussion.
Ben, you've got a big one coming up because two well-respected fighters go head-to-head. Best of pals, but not on this night. Chris Billam-Smith and Richard Riakporhe. We'll speak about that next.
White and Jordan on Talk Sport with Selco. Register for your trade card online at selcobw.com or in one of our branches.
TK Maxx are here to shake up your summer plans with headline-making, crowd-pleasing festival tickets exclusive to treasure customers. You and 3 friends could be on your way to TK Maxx presents Scarborough Open Air Theatre. Join our Treasure Rewards programme. Shop with your treasure card at TK Maxx, HomeSense or tkmaxx.com and you could be a winner. There's no summer like a TK Maxx summer. T's and C's at tkmaxx.com/festival10s.
For Club Lloyd customers, home isn't just where the heart is, it's also where the 0.2% discount is. If you take out a mortgage as a Lloyds Bank Club Lloyds customer, that's exactly what you could get. A 0.2% discount off your initial mortgage rate. With something for everyone, Club Lloyds is the inclusive bank account with exclusive benefits. Search Club Lloyds. £3 monthly fee may apply. Exclusions and conditions apply. Account opening subject to status. UK residents 18+.
Summer is coming. With Lidl, be super ready. Get 15% off our award-winning deluxe Aberdeen Angus beef burgers to kickstart barbie season. For now just $2.54 with Lidl Plus. Download the Lidl Plus app and start saving today. Subject to availability, valid until the 8th of May 24. 18 plus. GB residents. Full T's and C's apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
Unmistakable sound of lather on willow.
Absolute beauty. Fireworks. Power ballads. Anti-shirt cannons. Vitality Blast is back. Oh, wonderful technique. Another explosive season of T20 cricket launches with Blast Off on the 30th of May. What's a shot of this? Tickets on sale now. Search Vitality Blast.
It's time to spring into makeover mode with the Oak Furnitureland Bank Holiday Sale, where you can save on every range. Save on a luxurious bed for waking up ready to seize brighter days, a stylish sofa to sprawl on once the garden's prepped for summer, or a stunning dining table and chairs for entertaining the night away. And right now, enjoy 3 years interest-free credit and no deposit to pay from just $4.99. The Oak Furnitureland Bank Holiday Sale ends Monday. Finance T's and C's apply. Oak Furnitureland is a credit broker, not a lender.
Talk Sport and Village Hotels, the fans' #1 destination for live European football. From the emotion and exhilaration of the Europa and Europa Conference League.
Absolutely extraordinary.
To the ecstasy of the Champions League.
Can you believe it?
Get through the pitch coverage of the epic rivalries and blockbuster clashes from all 3 tiers of international European club football. Only on Talk Sport with Village Hotels. With 33 locations across the UK, Village Hotels have everything under one roof for a great breakaway.
Talk Sport Traffic and Travel with My Dear Cooling and Heating. Find an easy erotically air source heat pump project with My Dear. Win more, earn faster. That's the My Dear idea.
The A3 in Hampshire is closed northbound at junction 6 at Basingstoke after an accident causing long delays. In Suffolk, the A14 is blocked each way by an accident at junction 49 and Stowmarket causing queues. In Norfolk, the A148 is blocked by an accident at Holt. And on the M6 in the West Midlands, there are long northbound delays after an accident earlier. Junctions 9 and 10 near Birmingham, queues back to junction 7, with queues to on the M5 heading north towards there from junction 1 at West Bromwich. That's the latest. I'm Russell Holly.
Out of the Conference League live on Talk Sport 2.
And he's gone straight in.
Aston Villa versus
Olympiacos. Coverage from 7. Kick-off 8 p.m.
What a great bit of play.
Thursday night on Talk Sport 2.
Football fantastic.
Give us a goal.
Top boxing promoter Ben Shalom is in studio with Simon, myself and Spencer this lunchtime as we talk boxing in this hour, which we do every week between 12 and 1 on a Thursday. Ben's got a big one coming up because Chris Billham-Smith will defend his WBO Cruiserweight title against Richard Riakporhe at Selhurst Park, Simon, your old stamping ground on the 15th of June. And yesterday, the two got together. It was media day here in London. They stopped by on Drive afterwards, and they popped in to see Andy and Darren in the afternoon. And, of course, almost inevitably, the topic of the first fight came up. Riakporhe won on that occasion, but was that going to have any bearing whatsoever on this one?
He said the first fight doesn't matter, and then it's irrelevant, and then went on to talk about the first fight a little bit.
Well, I'll say it's irrelevant to me, but it's not irrelevant to you.
But it was what I'm saying is, you said it was irrelevant to you, and then went on to talk about it about yourself. So I think that's why I pulled you up on it.
Well, just to clarify, it's just there's a psychological element, in my opinion, and a lot of people agree. You know, I've beaten you once before, and that will play on the mind. Or maybe not. Everybody's different, but you know, a normal human being, it's definitely you're gonna think about it.
I'm not normal.
Really. So why are you
abnormal?
I'm abnormal. Oh well, I tell you what, Chris, you're in good company in this building. Spencer, is he right? Does the first fight have any bearing at all on what will happen on the 15th of June?
Listen, there is definitely that psychological element that he has to overcome, Chris Billham-Smith, and if he says that he hasn't got to overcome that, he has. You know, I was there July 2019, I saw what a barnstormer that fight was. It was a real tough fight, both guys had their moments. Riakporhe was the rightful winner, but it was a great fight. They've both gone on to have incredible careers since then. Chris Billam-Smith's gone on to pick up the WBO title, 10 fights, 10 wins since then. Richard Riakporhe has become the mandatory challenger. He's had 7 fights, 7 wins. They've both taken different paths, but now they collide. And there's a lot more on the line this time. Yeah. And that's what it's all about. Who can deal with the pressure? Now, Chris Billam-Smith is not at the Vitality Stadium. He's now going at Selhurst Park. He's going into Riakporhe's backyard. How will he deal with the pressure there? How will Riakporhe deal with it coming out with the fans? Can he feed off that pressure? You know, it's a lot different this time going into it. It's a fantastic fight. I think for me, Riakporhe has grown as a fighter. He seems to have got that confidence installed in him now. And I think that's what was the missing element from his whole game. And Chris Billam-Smith has showed us that he's got that warrior mentality. I mean, this is a fantastic fight.
Absolutely.
We're all going to have an opinion.
It captures the imagination, Ben, doesn't it?
They're completely different fighters. That's all I would say. Is Chris Billam-Smith, when we signed him, he was sort of considered around British European level. No one ever expected to even get to world level, never mind win a world title. In 6 weeks' time, he was fighting Isaac Chamberlain. He's built this phenomenal fan base in Bournemouth where he's sold out a stadium last year, become a world champion, defended it once already, and he's just elevated himself in the whole division to the point where I would say, I look back and say, from a success story for our business, I've not seen anything like it. But then, Richard Riakporhe, who was our first signing on Sky Sports, has just developed in a way that I could never have expected. He's become cultured, he's become disciplined, he's become focused much more than I ever thought. When he first fought Chris Billam-Smith, he was a brawler. Now he's a completely different animal, the fiercest puncher in the division without a doubt. It's a phenomenal fight. It's a 50-50 fight. It's got the perfect setting on June the 15th at Palace, and when we look at Wardley Clark and the numbers and the noise and the interest that generated, that was a British title fight. Yeah. This is a domestic world title fight.
Absolutely. We're going to talk Wardley Clark in a second, Ben. But as far as this one's concerned, at Selhurst Park, the 15th of June. Right, Billam-Smith against Riakporhe. It was interesting because one of your rivals, if you like, in the world of boxing, Frank Smith, who works for Eddie Hearn at Matchroom, he suggested, don't expect this to be a sellout.
I don't think so, is my honest opinion. I wish them the best of luck. Stadium shows are great. You know, Chris Billam-Smith had a great show in Bournemouth last year, so I wish them the best of luck on it. I think it's a tough sell, but you know, any fight that's good for British, it's a brilliant fight. You know, Richard Riakporhe, I know both guys very well, but they've never had history of being big ticket sellers in terms of Richard. Chris has in Bournemouth. He's done a great job in Bournemouth selling tickets. I'm not sure it will sell, but I'm happy to be proved wrong. I like to be proved wrong because it's a good sign for British boxing if they can.
It begs the question, what's it going to do with you, Frank? I mean, what's your take on that, Ben?
Look, this year, we've done Maya Jonas, we've done Buatsi Aziz, we've done Wardley Clark, Lauren Price now fights in Wales for her world titles, Lawrence Okoli's fighting for his world title, Richard Riakporhe now fighting in the stadium. We're putting on the biggest British event, and so with other people talk, I mean, begs the question why you're talking about our event.
They would probably love to have it.
And they'd love to have it. I think we're putting on the biggest British events consistently. We're selling out stadiums and arenas consistently. I think we're the only promoter doing that right now in the UK, and we'll continue to do that. And since the very start of this business, we will, as we grow, the more established promoters will continue to comment on our events, and as they get bigger and bigger in size and the stable gets bigger and bigger, it's going to happen consistently. But
you think this will end up sellout, Spencer?
Absolutely. Listen, the first fight's anything to go by, but you know, boxing fans, they know what they want. Richard Riakporhe's huge over there. You know, Selhurst Park, he's got a big backing from there. Chris Billam-Smith will bring up droves of fans from Bournemouth as well. He said that yesterday, so I'm expecting a sellout crowd there, definitely. I mean, the fight is a classic.
And Simon, you're expecting a good fight?
Oh, absolutely. It's a fascinating phenomenon because, irrespective of what Ben says, Richard Riakporhe was at ringside in the Vitality thing last year to call out Lawrence Okoli. And that was the stage that was being set. Now, of course, Okoli got beat, and Chris has gone on to fight Masternak to defend his world title. In my view, I like both boys. I think that they both deserve all the successes in the world. I think Riakporhe will bring it home.
Yeah. Okay, well, the date is the 15th of June. The venue, Selhurst Park, the home of Crystal Palace Football Club. It's Chris Billam-Smith against Richard Riakporhe. More from Ben and Spencer after this at 12:30.
White insured on Talk Sport with Selco. For everyday low trade prices on all your essential building materials, visit your local branch or head to selcobw.com.
First times. Remember those? Like the thrill of being chased by waves for the first time. Now imagine the thrill of skimming through the fjords on a high-speed rib on a Saga Ocean cruise. Or even the joy you'll feel with our Love It First Time guarantee. If you don't love all the incredible first times on your first Saga Ocean cruise, we'll give you your money back. 2025 season now on sale. Search Saga Cruises. Experience is everything. Port must be made in first 72 hours or 48 hours if cruise is 7 nights or less. Full terms apply. Over 50s only.
Sport with Selco Builders Warehouse. Get stacks of stock and hundreds of big name trade brands at selcobw.com. We've got it.
There will be 14 minutes of extra time.
With Betfair's 90-minute payout, you don't have to wait for the final whistle to celebrate. Because your winning bet will be paid out in full at 90 minutes. Betfair.
Applies to match odds 90 market or markets with a 90 icon. Sportsbook exclusive. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
With the biggest range of cars to buy entirely online, it's no wonder everyone's cinching it.
I cinched it. Doing a spin class. I think I'm going to be sick.
I cinched it in this coffee shop.
What are you having?
A 5-door hatchback.
This is your captain speaking. I cinched it before takeoff with a 14-day money-back guarantee.
With so many great reasons to buy, the nation aren't just nailing it, they're cinching it. Comparison against equivalent retailers. Visit cinch.co.uk/range claim. Mileage restrictions and terms apply.
All the big names are here. Ooh, who is that?
I think she was in the movie about that really big shark.
No, not her. The florist.
She's automating invoices on the go so she can spend more time on that flower wall.
QuickBooks will save you up to 8 hours a week, so you can bring your vision to life. That's how you business differently. Intuit QuickBooks.
Meet Sasha, a woman with impeccable style. Even the most fashionable amongst us can face fashion frustration.
So many clothes, but nothing to wear.
By selling something on eBay, there's still hope for Sasha.
Nice.
Sell the clothes you don't wear to buy the ones you will.
Birthday fit sorted.
It's now free to sell your pre-owned clothes on eBay, so you'll never have nothing to wear again. Conditions apply.
Listeners, we've uncovered the reason why Britain hasn't been so great of late is because the country hasn't been eating enough Weetabix. So to whoever's in charge of fixing potholes, to VAR and people who somehow managed to park over 2 bays, we must say, have you had your Weetabix?
You got a little wager with Paddy Power on this one then?
Yeah, mate. Big man to score anytime I'm backing him.
Oh, it looks like it's the big man who's coming off. Oh, he's going to struggle to score from the bench, pal.
Oh.
Fear not, punter, because with Paddy Power Super Sub, your bet carries over to the player coming off.
Y'all ready for this?
So now, all subs are super. Paddy Power. Football, you gotta love it.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Pre-match and in-play bets on qualifying player outcome selections only. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave. Online, on your mobile and on your smart speaker. Talk Sport. Talk Sport. News.
Good afternoon, I'm Amelia Beltrao. Yesterday was the busiest day this year for small boat channel crossings so far. 711 migrants made the dangerous journey. It comes as protesters have reportedly surrounded a coach in South London, which has been sent to transport asylum seekers to the BB Stockholm barge. It's understood 8 people staying at the Best Western in Peckham were due to be moved this morning. A man charged with the murder of a 14-year-old boy in northeast London has been remanded in custody following the first court appearance. Daniel Duran died in Hainault and 2 police officers were among 4 people injured in a sword attack on Tuesday. John Sweeney's thrown his hat in the ring to become Scotland's next First Minister. He's been SNP leader before for nearly 4 years from 2000, but he's going for it again. Mr Sweeney says he cares too much about Scotland not to.
People will ask, how long will I be around? I am no caretaker. I am no interim leader.
Kate Forbes could emerge as his rival later on. And after seeing nearly 40,000 lightning strikes across the UK since 9:30 last night, the Met Office has released another weather warning. A yellow warning for thunderstorms across central England is in place until midnight.
Talk Sport with Bostik. If you need a professional grade sealant with high mold resistance, easy tooling and minimal shrinkage, choose Bostik Pro Sealants.
Is Mauricio Pochettino admitting his love for Spurs? Refreshing. And do Villa get enough credit for how good they really are? Both games are live across the TalkSport network from tonight.
First kick of the weekend is Game Day Breakfast. Saturday morning from 6 on TalkSport with Tony Cascarino and Natalie Sawyer.
First live football, fixture talk and full flavour fan food.
With big game previews.
Big name exclusives.
And qualifying comment from the nation's destination dawn chorus of Cascarino and Sawyer.
Unequivocal, qualified comment and concentrated club talk.
And everything you need to set up your Saturday.
Pitch perfect and ready to play.
Game Day Breakfast, Saturday morning from 6
on TalkSport.
Top boxing promoter Ben Shalom in studio with Spencer Oliver, myself and Mr. Simon Jordan as we talk boxing this hour. It being a Thursday, of course, but we talk boxing anytime we can because it's so damn popular. Ben in studio, we're talking about Richard Rapport fighting Chris Billam-Smith at Selhurst Park on the 15th of June. And Ben, you were saying the very venue itself gives this fight something different. I can see a number of messages from people coming in saying, where do I get tickets? I'll go to that. Selhurst Park. There's a Palace fan, Tommy, a Palace fan. Definitely, I want to go to my own stadium to watch that fight. I mean, you're excited by it?
I think it's a celebration. I think it's a celebration for British boxing. It's an outdoor summer event. It's something that Crystal Palace have wanted to do for a long time with Richard Rapport in South London. You don't get many occasions. Boxing fans love spectacle. They love to enjoy themselves. It's a night out, it's a party, it's a festival. The things that Crystal Palace are planning with the music artists, the undercard, a couple announced yesterday, which is phenomenal. If anyone's ever seen Ben Whittaker fight in the flesh, now's the time on June the 15th in the stadium.
Yeah.
It's just with all the fights going on all around the world, British boxing is very, very important to us, and I think this is the standout event of the summer.
Well, you mentioned Ben Whittaker. He's going to face this fellow Ezra Aranyeka in a light heavyweight clash on the Billam-Smith Rapport rematch undercard. Aranyeka, you won't be surprised to hear, Spencer, has been critical of Whittaker's showboating. Recently labelled him a kid, a diva, and says, I'll be the first man to beat him. Do you think Whittaker overdoes this aspect of what he does in the ring?
No, I think that's his selling point. That's exactly what he does. You know, I'm a big fan of Ben Whittaker, always have been. You know, the people are talking about, you know, he won't get away with this as he moves up the levels. They said that about Naseem Hamed when he was boxing, when he started out, and he could continue to do that because he has the talent, he has the class. That is part of his style. He works on the psychological things, getting inside the fighter's head as the fight's unfolding. So no, I think, listen, you've got to sit back and enjoy. When you get a talent like this, you just have to sit back and enjoy the ride, because that's what it is with Ben Whittaker. You know, he's fighting the African King, a guy that gatecrashed last press conference actually to call for this fight. He's 12-0, 10 KOs. He really fancies it. He sees this as a huge opportunity, but he doesn't know quite what a talent is going in with Ben Whittaker. I spoke to him actually yesterday. I said to him, listen, do you know what you're dealing with here? You know how you're going to do that? And he, no, he was thriving off it. He said, I know exactly what I'm dealing with. I know exactly what I'm going in with, and I'm gonna rip up the script. And that's what he's saying. It's a great fight.
I mean, he's an entertainer, Whittaker, Simon, but some would say, look, just stick to what you're good at. Fight, box.
Well, he's got a good one, hasn't he? So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I saw that absurd interview that Andy Clark did with the Sky, and I thought, what do you want about you know, sport is about entertainment, it's about glorification, it's about enhancing, get people off their bums of seats. Whether Ben Whittaker can carry that through, he'll be the judge of that. He'll be the recipient of that upside or downside. I don't understand the argument. I think it's irrelevant. I think ultimately he's a remarkable talent. I think he's a very articulate, erudite young man, and I think he's going to be a superstar. And I'm for start. I think there's a balance. I've never liked Naseem taking Ricky out Steve Robinson the way he did in that fight, and I think there was a level of respect. But we'll see how it changes. But I don't think there should be any idea in this disposable society where optics is supposedly all the thing. I find it quite laughable that Sky presenters are having a go at a boxer about the fact he's a stylist. And a little bit.
They're not the only ones. I mean, a few people have a problem. Do they not?
I don't know. I think most people are in favour of it.
Yeah, I think most people are in favour of it. I think in the US in particular, he's developing a huge fan base. They seem to be more accepting of of personality and characters and stars over there, but this is his 8th fight. So to be creating this much talking points already in his career, I've never seen anything like it. I think you have to think back even to Anthony Joshua in his 7th or 8th fight, Prince Nashville in his 7th or 8th fight. Were they creating this much noise? I think if they'd be hard pushed. We went to New York last week. He's been stopped at the Yankees game. He's been stopped in the street. That's unheard of.
Really?
That is unheard of.
They know all about it there.
But it says what he's doing is working, doesn't it? So I think that's what it's all about. It's about, you know, remembering who he is, what he is. Not only is he an exceptional talent, but he's a big personality outside the ring as well. And I think that is important today in today's society.
He's meticulous and dedicated in the ring and outside the ring. He knows what's important. He's a phenomenal talent. He's an elite level fighter that's proved himself at the very top of the amateur game. And he's going to go right to the very top. But in doing so, he's also becoming a superstar, and that's the difference.
Rob's a West Ham fan. I like Ben Whittaker as a fighter. I don't really enjoy the showboating, but I like him as a fighter. I don't know, goes down well with some and not others. Ben, you had a cracker when Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark contested a thriller of a split decision draw in London. That was March. Are we any closer to a rematch?
To be honest, murmurs have started to come from both camps, which I didn't expect so early. It was such a brutal night. I thought Fraser had a couple of months off, Fabio especially.
Yeah.
But I think they both know this is the biggest fight. This is the biggest money fight for both of them. This is the one that has created them, really. You know, you look at that fight and I think they'll look back on that fight as the most important fight of both of their respective careers. They've both been blown up into sort of superstar status, and now the rematch is, I feel, looming, just because it's the biggest fight for both, and we've heard from both of them already. Do I think it's happening in the next couple of months now? I think they both do need time, and even as a promoter, even as their managers, I think it's almost saying to the fighters, take a rest, and then
Have you been in touch? Like, how are you both? I mean, they both put so much into it.
I think they've both been away and they're both doing well. I know Fraser's back in the gym and he wants to go. He's got the bit between his teeth now. You know, that was his first real test, and I think he realised, well, you know, he knows he's made for the game, but until you get in there and have a 12-round test like that in front of a packed O2, I think you then get the drug. He's got it now, and I think he knows that he can go right to the very top. He's got a lot more to go, a lot more improvement to go, and that's what's so exciting with Fraser in particular, how early on in his professional career.
It was a sensation,
Great,
wasn't it?
great fight. You know, no one expected that. We knew it was going to be a good fight, but no one expected it to unfold the way that it unfolded. And it was an absolute barnstorm. When the draw was the right result, they both fought to a standstill. Really, do we want to see it again? Of course, we want to see it again. Is that the obvious move for both of them financially? Of course, it is. Do we see it this year? I think we do. I think we see it probably at the back end of the year. But Ben's right in what he says. When you go through a fight like that, and both guys went through what they went through, you go, they need a little bit of rest, you know, they need a little bit of recovery time from that, because that was brutal, that fight, but it was fantastic entertainment.
I mean, they put so much into it, Simon. They both were commended for the effort that both of them made. And I think if you're a fight fan, that's the one you want to see again.
Yeah. I mean, I still think Fabio Wardley won the fight. I think Fraser Clark was more competitive in the fight than people thought he was going to be, and started better than people thought he was going to start. And both of them would have learned a lot of lessons about one another. You know, in terms, no one can question their bravery.
Yeah.
No one can question their resilience. Given the landscape of heavyweight boxing, it probably makes sense for them to fight again, because they're spinning around waiting for other opportunities, because major belts are titles are tied up everywhere else, and they're not probably at world level anyway. So I think it makes sense, and as Ben says, the economics of that fight will now tell they'll get paid more for that fight than they will ever anywhere else.
When they fight again, do they become very wealthy young men? Ben, is that basically the reward?
I think they're both doing okay as it is. I think, this is a fight that will be something that they're not used to, just because I think it's changed Fraser Clark and Fabio's career. Boxing in front of 1 million people in Britain, in that sort of environment. We've seen it with Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte when they fought many years ago, and they've both gone on to be pay-per-view stars.
Yeah.
It changes the trajectory.
And it's an all-British fight, as was Boaty Aziz in February. Where are you at with that? Boaty won. Josh Boaty won that night over Dan Aziz. Any any news on that one?
Just frustrated, really. We thought we'd have the Boazzi yard fight announced by now. I think everyone knows ourselves, the boxer, and Josh Boazzi have been ready for that fight, accepted almost anything that's been put to us for that fight, have made everything possible to make it happen, but unfortunately there's issues on the other side, and we've had to wait. I'm still hopeful because I think it's the fight that the fans want. I think it's the obvious fight for British boxing. We've made so many British fights this year. Riyad Smith being the next one. I think it has to happen, but obviously we're not having to consider other options because, you know, it's almost out of our hands.
Sure, so Chris Smith against Richard Rathbone will happen on the 15th of June at Selhurst Park, and tickets been on sale now.
Tickets went on sale today. We actually had a record pre-sale, most we've ever done for a fight night. I expect it to go through the roof. We've got 2 big fights to announce next week, so now is the time to get your tickets. I know Bournemouth are putting on all the coaches for the fans, the Cherries fans coming up all the way to South London, and then of course Crystal Palace at 10% of every ticket going to their Palace for Life Foundation. And I have to thank Steve Parish and Crystal Palace for getting so behind this event.
Ben, well done for that. Ben Shalom with us this lunchtime. Tony and Salford, love the show, guys. Listen every day, but especially between 12 and 1 on Thursdays when you talk boxing, and that's what we're doing right now. Ben Shalom, thanks for that. It's 1:45.
White and Jordan on Talk Sport with Selco. For the latest special offers, pick up this month's real deals in branch or view online at selcobw.com.
Hello, mate. Got any tips for the football? This match will be like your local kebab shop on a Saturday night. Fast-paced, busy, and you never know who's going to turn up. But one thing for sure, it's going to be tasty. Your best bet is to go for a mixed meat and chips with extra garlic sauce. Eh? I'm sorry, pal. I make Marvin got carried away. Your best bet is to head over to BetVictor and feast your eyes on their football offers.
Listen to Harry. Make your best bet on football at BetVictor. 18 plus Be Gamble Welcome.
Uno is now available in McDonald's Happy Meal. So let's see you can shout Uno first.
Get on.
Yes, yes. Ooh, no! A wild card! Right, yes, back in the game. Yes. Ooh, no! A draw 1 card.
Uno. Better luck next time.
Have fun with your Uno cards. Does that one count?
Nope.
Oh. Some fun, some food, it's all inside this Happy Meal. Until 7th of May from 11 AM. Includes one selected book or toy. Uno range comprises toys only whilst stocks last.
With Now, you can stream the biggest action on Sky Sports instantly and without a contract.
Absolutely brilliant.
This Sunday, Liverpool face Tottenham at Anfield. But that's not all. Catch the final day drama for the EFL Championship, the Miami Grand Prix, and the finals of the Madrid Open Tennis. Get all Sky Sports channels for a day or a whole month with a Now Sports membership. Stream a big weekend of sport live with Now. Head to nowtv.com.
18 plus Sky Sports content streamed via internet. Full terms apply.
We're not a bit Spanish. We're not vaguely Spanish. Somewhat Spanish or Spanish. Estrella Galicia Cerveza is 100% Spanish. Just look for the label. Brewed slowly for 5 generations in A Coruña, using the finest Galician ingredients. So as a 100% authentic Spanish beer, it's time we say, cheers to the pretenders. We'll take it from here. Estrella Galicia. Spanish, not Spanish.
Don't know where to start your next paint project? At Wix, find all the inspiration and help you'll need. Crux Dulux Standard 2.5 litre colour emulsion was £21, now 15. Terms apply.
Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent on TalkSport Drive with Motorpoint. Destination sports conversation fueled by unfiltered opinion with quality guests as standard and a couple of motor mouths. Something's not right, is it? That's rubbish. It's the daily radio road trip that takes you to the farthest corners of the nation's football landscape.
I'm just in my flat, chilling out.
Yeah, you must be my favourite so far, mate. Have a wonderful afternoon. TalkSport Drive this afternoon from 4 on TalkSport with Motorpoint. There's no car like a Motorpoint car.
TalkSport Traffic and Travel with My Dear Cooling and Heating. Find an easier route to win air conditioning split system projects with My Dear. Win more, burn faster. That's the My Dear idea.
M3 in Hampshire is closed northbound at junction 6 at Basingstoke after an accident. Diversions are often back on by the exit and entry slip roads, causing long delays. In Suffolk, the A14 is closed each way after an accident. Eastbound's closed from junction 47 at Walpit to 49 at Stowmarket, causing queues. Westbound's closed at junction 49 with diversions there, often back on by the slip roads, causing delays. And in Norfolk, the A148 is blocked westbound by an accident at Holt, causing delays. That's the latest.
Russell Holding.
Howard Simon Jordan. Laser-guided comment, unfiltered opinion, and high-voltage debate.
A new radio landscape of comment, conflict and confrontation with two legends of sports media.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Mid-mornings on Talk Sport.
It's Jim White and Simon Jordan, and Spencer Oliver is with us as we talk boxing, of course. We were talking earlier on, Simon, about Sir Jim Ratcliffe saying people at Manchester United, we don't want you working from home much longer. We were quite light-hearted about it, but we do know that many people, whether they run their businesses from home or for childcare or health reasons, just to name a couple of instances, then it requires you working from home. So we know that, and it's very obvious, and we understand that and appreciate it.
If you're self-employed, you can do what you want. But if you work for me, get your backside into work. Thank you very much.
But the point was around maximising productivity, creating a team ethic as Manchester United need on and off the field. That's why Sir Jim is saying, get into work and get on with it. And it's right. And no offence, of course, to anyone who works from home was intended, of course, by us. Let's get back to the boxing while Spencer is in studio with us here. Two Mexicans, Spence, go head-to-head this Saturday night in Vegas. I mean, this should be something else. As Canelo Alvarez makes his fourth consecutive defence of his undisputed super middleweight world title this Saturday night, as I say, against Jaime Munguia in Las Vegas. My goodness me, when you look at the credentials. Canelo we know all about, 60 fights, 39 KOs. Munguia is 43-0 with 34 knockouts. What on earth has got to give here?
Listen, it's a great fight. Munguia, I think for the British fight fans, beat John Ryder last time out, stopped John Ryder actually. He's a very tall, rangy fighter, but fights well on the inside as well. This is a great fight. A great fight. I mean, Canelo Alvarez will start a big favourite in this one, but Munguia, he can really fight. As you say, 34 knockouts in the 40-odd victories that he's had. Yeah, I like him. It's a fantastic fight.
Honestly, I mean, Simon, as you would always say, it's a pick-em. This actually is, and I never thought I'd say that about any fight that Canelo's in.
Yeah, I still think that Canelo will have the juice to do it. You know, I'd like to see if he wants to fight David Benavidez.
Yes.
That's the fight that he doesn't want to have.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great fight. But I think Canelo Alvarez will have just about enough to deal with him. But it will be a compelling fight. And what's even more compelling is the battle of words between Oscar de la Hoya
I love that.
and Canelo Alvarez. And given the fact that I speak a bit of Spanish, I know precisely what they were saying to one another. And it wasn't particularly good. It was the worst kind of insults.
So Spencer, we know we're 2 weeks out from Fury Usyk. Have we found the only man who seems to err on the side of Usyk going in and winning it? This was George Groves with us earlier.
Like every opinion, as the fight gets closer, doubt creeps in. I still think Usyk's the favourite. I think Usyk wins this fight. You see Fury now, he looks in much better shape than he was before, and you think, well, maybe, but I just think off not just their most recent performances, but over their pool of the past 2 years of work, you've got to pick Usyk to beat Fury. He's up against a giant, 6'9", very effective fighter, but I just think that years have been kinder to Usyk, and he's in better form, and I can see him winning. Like I can't see Fury winning.
He can't see Fury winning. I mean, and George was resolute. We went into a commercial break after that, and again he went over the reasons why he takes Usyk, Spence.
Yeah, listen, he's right in what he says. As the fight draws closer, doubts do creep in. And I'm the other way, actually, because obviously we've been big on Tyson Fury winning the fight, the physicality, the size. You know, he's got a great boxing IQ, like Usyk, and that's how he normally works things out, and he puts his foot on the gas and normally picks it up in the last half of the contest. But as the fight draws closer, yeah, of course you can see Alexander Usyk winning. You know, if he can fiddle his way through it and sort of pick the pace up in that second half. But I'm still with Tyson Fury. I think that he'll get himself into that conditioning. You know, he knows what he's going into. I think it's a fantastic fight. Listen, it's a 60-40 fight for me, but I'll go for Tyson Fury to win that one. It's a great fight.
Simon, I'm looking at a massive number of messages come in while we talk boxing for the hour between 12 and 1. A big number of messages since his name came up into conversation. Anthony Yarde. There's one, there's Rob. I'll just pick one at random. Yarde against Buatsi would be absolutely immense. I hope this can be arranged. I mean, do you agree with that? Would that be an absolute barnstormer?
I think it'd be a great fight. I think Yarde against Callum Smith or Boetz against Callum Smith would be a great fight, whether the risk-reward ratio gives you the return, because I think the Yard Boetz fight seems to have a little bit more potency about it, and Callum Smith comes with a little bit more risk and maybe not just as much reward.
Yeah.
But you've obviously got this issue with Frank and Yard over a contractual dispute, and Frank's quite adamant that Yard is under contract to him and will do as he's told. Yard seems to be listening to other people, telling him to do something different, and I'm not entirely sure but that's right, because I think in this instance, and in most a lot of instances with Frank, the fighters get pretty good deals, they get the fights that they want, they get the shots that they get. Daniel Dubois had a world title shot against Alexander Usyk. Anthony Yard got very early opportunities to beat Kovalev, didn't they?
Yeah.
And had an opportunity to do that. Then he got another match against Beterbiev, so there is a little bit of like...
Dubois now going in against Hrgovic, that looks likely to be the IBF title as well.
Anthony Yard, but maybe you should have a little bit more respect.
Well, we're going to finish on this one today. It's the 25th of this month in Leeds, a rematch between Josh Taylor and Jack Cantrell. And I know up in Scotland, a lot of people are going to follow Taylor down to Yorkshire and head to Leeds for that fight. Ahead of it, Josh has been speaking with Adam Cantrell about the sacrifices he's made to take the Cantrell fight, and Saudi Arabia playing a part in those sacrifices.
I actually got asked about this, I'm pretty sure it was you last time as well we spoke, was, oh, have you been offered to go out in Saudi and stuff? I said, well, actually, there has been talk of it, but I think, that was the biggest fight in my opinion in the UK in terms of, obviously, the last fight, and the hype up to this one, the interest in it. Why would you take it all away from the UK fans who die-hard fans who are the best fans in boxing is the people in the UK, because they're so passionate, they're so up for it and picking sides, and here and there, they'll travel all around the country to go to all these shows. So why take one of the biggest fights that's happening in the UK and take it over to the Middle East just to potentially get a little bit more money? No, it's a UK fight. So for me, I think it's a UK fight for the UK fans, and at a time when people are struggling and stuff like that, and people need to have something to look forward to, and it needs to be in the UK.
I love that, and Josh Taylor. That full interview goes out Saturday night in TalkSport Fight Night with Hugh Spencer and Gareth A. Davis. That's from 9. What about what Taylor is saying there? A lot of British fight fans will think, good on you. Thank goodness you've said that.
It's a much bigger fight over here on these shores. I think if that did end up abroad, it would go on one of the undercards somewhere. It gets swallowed up, it would just be another fight on the undercard. But I think here, there's a lot of interest in that still with the controversy surrounding the first fight. Talk about sacrifices he's made there. Them sacrifices are going back down to 140. You've got to respect him taking the fight at 140, because that's a weight I think he's outgrown, and I think that might be the undoing for him going into this contest. But yeah, that's what I think he's talking about, Jim. Maybe.
And are you Team Cantrell or Team Taylor?
I think at 140, I think that Cantrell wins the fight.
Simon, you go the other way, I think.
I do, yeah. I think it will be a brilliant fight. I wouldn't be surprised either which way, but I think if Josh Taylor recaptures any of the form and the ability to fight at that weight that we think that potentially challenges him, then I think he's got the class to overcome Jack.
Absolutely. Different class today. Spencer, thank you so much for everything there. Many people so interested in that fight we were talking about earlier on, getting in touch with us this lunchtime on TalkSport. Billam Smith against Radford. These two will go head-to-head, Selhurst Park on the 15th of June, and tickets are on sale now. Angela McDonald will be happy with that. And we've been up to 1.
Why enjoy no talk sports with Selco Builders Warehouse? With the Selco app, it's now even easier to buy from Selco. Download it for free from the App Store today.
Imagine exercise with Peloton. Smooth, boosted workouts on the bike, lively pop-punk run, strengthening boot camp session, and motivation with a non-stop 24/7 community. Or you could breathe in, breathe out, and not move a muscle. From cycling and yoga to meditation and more, find what feels good with Peloton. Infinite connection, Peloton All Access membership required. See onepeloton.co.uk.
Jordan on Talk Sport with Selco. Register for your trade card online at selcobw.com or in one of our branches.
There are all sorts of fans who make racing what it is. The armchair expert who knows it all, right down to what the horse had for breakfast. The country gents head to toe in tweed, and the ladies with their extravagant hats. The banana-suited stag-do lads, and the man who just backed the horse because it has a funny name. Whatever kind of racing fan you are, don't miss Coral daily download every Saturday and Sunday morning on TalkSport with Coral. We're here for it. 18 plus at gambleaware.org.
The small improvements we're making to our burgers are kind of a big deal. So McDonald's are giving rewards customers double points on selected classics. Sign up to My McDonald's Rewards, unlock it now, get more for your love. Double points. 18 plus on Big Mac, Quarter Pounder, and Double Cheeseburger. Participating restaurants only. Ends 19th of May.
We're not a bit Spanish. We're not very Spanish. Somewhat Spanish or Spanish. Estrella Galicia Cerveza is 100% Spanish. Just look for the label. Brewed slowly for 5 generations in A Coruña, using the finest Galician ingredients. So as a 100% authentic Spanish beer, it's time we say, cheers to the pretenders. We'll take it from here. Estrella Galicia. Spanish, not Spanish.
At MFU Mutual, we offer quality insurance for businesses of all sizes. Our experts understand the challenges you face. So we've developed quality insurance products to offer extensive business cover. It's no wonder over 95% of our business customers renew each year. For top quality business insurance, search MFU Mutual Business Insurance. MFU Mutual, closer to your business and closer to what matters.
If you leave your customers happier than life, if you always take your boots up at the door, if you tend to get given the good biscuits, you might have what it takes to join the Trusted Trader professionals. Millions of people use TrustedTrader.com to find reputable, recommended tradespeople like you. So if you're looking for more business and even more good biscuits, apply to join us at
Make sure you're all set for kick-off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. It's TalkSport's premier weeknight fan forum featuring your views and the opinions of TalkSport's top team of passionate pundits. Plus, get the latest form and odds before the whistle blows direct from Ladbrokes. And hear live commentaries of selected matches throughout the season. Kick-off, weeknights from 7 on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
on 1089 and 1053 medium wave, on your mobile and on your smart speaker. TalkSport. Talk Sport.
We're the Lookers. With over 130 dealerships nationwide, it's the place to find new and used cars and vans. Visit lookers.co.uk.
This is Paul Hawksby and Charlie Baker, and we will be coming up very, very shortly. I've got into the intro too early. I should thank Jim Simon, Spencer and the gang, of course, for the last 3 hours first. Yeah, me and Charlie up with this afternoon. We'll look ahead to tonight's commentary game between Chelsea and Spurs. Villa got a big match tonight in the Europa League. And we're going to get an Olympiacos angle. What are they up against in the league? And what sort of nick are Olympiacos? We know all about Villa and what they're capable of. I think they are favourites certainly this evening, but what are they facing? We'll find out more a little bit later on. We're going to tell you about a new cup competition featuring under-21 teams and non-league sides, and look at maybe some of the reasons why it's happening. Jamie Curran's going to join us, a man who's played many sides, league and non-league, and indeed coached academy kids as well. And Jadon Sancho's fine performance last night has led us to ask you the question, who was great for them, but rubbish for you? We'd like to know that this afternoon. We've got a Charlie's choice that you won't quite believe is possibly his worst yet. Josh Widdicombe's going to join us as Plymouth face relegation at the weekend. And if you like the responder, it's back, Martin Freeman, of course. Tony Schumacher wrote it, will be joining us, big Evertonian, he's popping into the studio. All that in the birthday spread after Ben Fletcher with the sports headlines.
Good afternoon. Is honesty always the best policy? Well, Mauricio Pochettino's come under fire for admitting he doesn't love Chelsea as much as he does Tottenham. With Gus Poyet, who plays for both clubs, doesn't see what all the fuss is about.
In a way, it's welcome, because nowadays someone doesn't want us to be honest. They want us to be, someone else. So very welcome the word from Poche from the personal point of view. Obviously, let's see the reaction of the fans tonight.
Poyet's also told TalkSport the Blues are crying out for experience after Thiago Silva announced his departure. Chelsea Spurs is our live commentary this evening here on TalkSport. Over on TalkSport 2, Villa host Olympiacos in the last 4 of the Europa Conference League. Do Unai Emery's side get the credit they deserve in a season where they're flying on 2 fronts? Here's Villa's all-time leading Premier League goal scorer, TalkSport's Gabby Agbonlahor.
I think if you look at the league table, people don't give Villa the credit they deserve. You know, in fourth position, 8 points behind Liverpool. Look at Spurs. Spurs 2 games now, 7 points behind us. Chelsea 19 points behind Aston Villa. It's been an outstanding season.
Sportsbar takes your calls from 10. And after that convincing win over Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia finds himself in a nightmare scenario.
I never taken a steroid in my life. I don't even know where to get steroids at the end of the day. I barely, take supplements.
The Flash King Ryan on X insisting he's no cheat. Garcia has tested positive in 2 VADA drugs tests taken either side of the fight. Hanley, in the meantime, says this is no joking matter and you don't play boxing.
Talk Sport News.
John Swinney insists he's no caretaker as he throws his hat into the ring to become Scotland's next First Minister, and drivers in Glasgow will soon be expected to drive a lot slower. The media explains why at 30:30.
Talksport weather with QuickFit. With over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week, we're here for every journey. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Mostly dry this afternoon with warnings in place for thundery showers in southern and central areas. The best of the sunshine on the east coast.
And 1053 medium wave on DAB, online and on your smart speaker. Paul Hawksby and Charlie Baker on Talk Sport.
This is Paul Hawksby and Charlie Baker with you through until 4 here on TalkSport. Where this afternoon, Charlie? Please tell us what's coming.
Coming up over the next 3 hours, we'll preview tonight's TalkSport commentary game between Chelsea and Spurs. Paul, don't be nervous. We'll also look at what Villa are up against this evening as they take on Olympiacos, and veteran striker and academy coach, still got it, Jamie Curitan gives us his take on the new Toughen Up the Kids Cup.
Call it the Toughen Up the Kids
Why not? It's
Cup.
what it is, isn't it?
It's what it
Toughen 'em
is.
up.
Toughen up the kids. Yeah, Pledges knocked off a few kickings from 40-year-old blokes, elbow in the face. Talking of which, anyway, I'll come back to this in a minute. Jadon Sancho's performance for Dortmund against PSG last night leads us to ask about those players who were great for them, but rubbish for you. Rubbish wasn't the first word Charlie used. Charlie's choice today is the excruciating "Have you ever eaten a fly?" Nothing to do with
We will
me.
get more on that than anything else.
And Josh Widdicombe stares relegation in the face.
He does. There's all this, plus the writer of TV's The Responder and Evertonian Tony Schumacher pops into the studio. Yeah. And more fair to middling gags, cheating and toys being thrown, that's just Paul, out of the pram in the birthday spread.
Your birthday spread coming up later. 6 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Charlie.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Paul. Enjoyed Jadon Sancho last night.
It was very good.
That yellow, I don't know everyone talks about it, but that yellow wall.
Yeah.
Oh, it's what, I mean, it's very, very like
Read it between the lines. I
City.
sense last night that's where Jamie Carragher had watched the game from. Although he was loath to mention it, wasn't he?
It's quite hard to, I mean, I know he's, he's connected, isn't it? It's quite hard to get a ticket for the Yellow Walk. So I've always found one of these sporting destinations I've always found very similar to when talking to Bombard City.
Yeah.
This year.
You've got your own yellow wall.
Our own yellow
That was part of your yellow wall in Boreham Wood. You've got a lot of holes in the wall.
Yeah, it's not quite the yellow wall.
No.
We do our best. Might have the own wall looking like it's going through.
It's not Brewdog though, Charlie. You're hoping it's going to be Brewdog.
I wasn't hoping I don't drink that much.
Yeah. Other beers he's like. All over you like a rash Brewdog. I was hoping you were going to buy it, but
no, not them. Looking like we got new owners.
that's
That's
really
very
good.
exciting.
Really
I'm
pleased to see you going to survive, Charlie. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you've been sitting out there today thinking, congratulations, Peppa Pig, on your 20th anniversary. But is there any link at all to TalkSport? Well, funny you should say that, because there is. Now, you've probably often heard this little jingle, especially on a Saturday when we bring you our brilliant live football kicking off at 12:30. Have a listen to this. Yeah. So, that is actor Richard Ridings, who did that a few years ago. He's also the voice of Peppa Pig's dad.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you want to get a bit of proof of that?
Here we go.
A 1, 2, 3, whoopla!
That last bit, obviously, we added on.
All the very young people in the booth there, Paul. Yeah, assistant producers, etc.
That's right.
All their ears pricked up because it's.
I know.
Well,
Well,
their main babysitter, Peppa Pig.
Yasmin still watches it.
Exactly.
Working with. She'll go and watch the videos tonight.
MMA to get Peppa Pig v Bluey because Bluey's come in
Really?
absolutely
They've got
knocked Peppa Pig out of the water.
20 years, that's a sensation, isn't it?
Oh, yeah,
Very
really.
big little pig. 20 years in the game, that's
It
tremendous.
really is, isn't it?
But you said, I've got to be honest, I've never watched it.
Never seen one.
My kids are too old for Peppa Pig. They were of an earlier vintage.
But let me tell you, Danny Pig was an absolute idiot.
Really?
He's an absolute clown. He's the butt of every single joke, Paul.
Yeah.
He never gets anything right. And all he's trying to be is a good dad. He's trying to be a good man.
Oh, okay.
Bring his kids up. Bring his pigs up really
He's
well.
a decent lad.
He's a decent lad.
Gets a bad rep.
And he gets a bad rep.
The producer's telling me we've got something else to play. Let's hear it, shall we?
A 1, 2, 3, whoopla! Game day.
Basically the same. I think, the kids are like to mess about, don't they?
They do. They've got excited because Peppa Pig's on.
You have to give me a crash course. We won't go on about Peppa Pig for too long. There is a reason for this. I needed a crash course in Peppa Pig to know much about it. The roles of the different characters.
Yeah.
And there is one character who is it Miss Rabbit?
Miss Rabbit. She runs everything. She drives the bus. She
Kit Bag,
post office.
she's Kit Rabbit.
She's Kit Rabbit. All those
The
things.
way you described it to me, you wanted to put together not necessarily a Peppa Pig 11,
Well, you said it now.
but a kids' TV 11.
Oh yeah, lovely.
Because, but not puns. Because from what you told me about Miss Rabbit, she's the Declan Rice.
She can hold them. She can absolutely hold them.
She can just sit there at 6 all day. And
Miss
then
Rabbit, she'd be able to box the box.
forward when she needs to, but let's just do that job box to box. Okay, so we've put her in midfield.
So we don't want puns, do we?
No, we don't.
We don't want puns on players' names.
We want to build an 11.
A bit of nostalgia's fine as well.
Telly.
You want to give us a bit of D'Artagnan from the past?
Okay. Okay. Miss Rabbit wearing 6. Just sitting in that midfield.
The Perishers, Top Cat. Where did Top Cat play for? Top Cat team captain.
Up top on this, but top on it.
Ring goal.
Okay, go on then. It was not Friday, but TalkSport.com, text 1889 to TS18J if you want to put that together. Give us your reasons why. We want pretty solid sound football reasons why you're slotting that particular cartoon character or kids' TV character into that position. Don't just say, oh, right back. That's no good to anybody, is it? Give you a sound reason why Miss Rabbit.
You're the scout. You're the scout.
Yeah, you've been on the kids' TV show, and you've got aye.
You've seen Mr. Ben.
Yeah. So exactly. So where are they going to slot in? TalkSport.com, text 1889 to TS18J this afternoon. Very good. So who were those players? I mean, Jadon Sancho. We're going to hear from Eric Ten Hag later on. He said that at press conference today and the games at the weekend. I do have someone who said to him, did you see Jadon Sancho? He looked good. You should be. He's decent, isn't he? Might be worth having a look at him. I wonder if they've asked him about Jadon Sancho before.
The Sancho kid. Seems to have something.
I think he's only on loan. You never know. So we'll find out a little bit later on. But he did have a very good game. And he said he's enjoying his football. He's happy. And going back to somewhere he knew has clearly made a difference. There's no massive settling in period for him. But there are players sometimes that are absolutely terrible for you, but brilliant for someone else. So we are looking for some of those this afternoon. Great for them, rubbish for you.
Yeah, Sebastian Haller has come in a couple of times so far, which is...
it didn't really happen. It's hard to believe sometimes you're watching the same players.
Lewis, the West Ham.
Skamaka as well. That was, Lewis Skamaka and Haller,
Could never see Haller. Could never see that happening with him. Could you? Going off and being somewhere else, but then being a decent player. But there he was. Fantastic.
Obviously, Inspector Gadget's got to go in goal. That's sort of you put your name on that, but of course he has.
Roadrunner on the right, people are going for. All running the ball. He's not got the final ball.
Wing back, wouldn't he?
He's not got the final ball, Roadrunner.
He'd be a wing back. So when he wants the ball, he goes me, isn't it?
Constantly calling for it.
Me. Well, you said you wanted the. No, that's the. Yeah, that's it. You said you wanted the ball. Listen, Keane, it's a really dark
Is this
night.
Chelsea-Tottenham tonight?
Yeah, I'm just trying to take my mind off it. No, I'm not. We're going to kick off. We're going to talk a bit of Tottenham first off. We are going to talk Chelsea later on. So we're looking into Villa's game in the Europa League this evening.
I will say we've never had more text, so I don't know if we'll ever get through them all, Paul, but there we
do our
are.
best.
Carry
Do
on.
our best. The sound ones. Tony Schumacher's coming in. Proud Evertonian and Right to the Responder, which returns to BBC One this week with Martin Freeman. Very good series.
Yeah, great series.
I loved it. Huge. Everybody loved it. So Tony's popping in to see us talk about the actors they've got in both series. Got great.
You think all the top series would have been done?